What is a contingency in real estate? Contingent means a certain thing will occur if something else happens. Let's say thing B is contingent on thing A happening. Real estate contracts generally contain a few of these. As a seller, you need to evaluate contingencies as part of the overall package of an offer. Not all of them present the same degree of risk to the transaction. Thing B, the thing that you want to happen, is for the buyer to close on the purchase. So what thing A's must happen first? Number 5, a septic or on-site sewer system requirements. If you have a septic system, you're going to have that system pumped and inspected. You can do this ahead of finding a buyer or even putting the house on the market and effectively clear that contingency beforehand. Many sellers wait because there is an expiration for how long that approval is good for the county. So waiting can potentially save you from having to pay and go through that process twice. However, waiting carries some pretty big risks. For example, you have a buyer on the line and let's say you find a problem during that process and you're going to be forced to make repairs and deal with that and feel maybe more under the gun than you would if you had dealt with it up front. Dealing with it up front, you can get bids and really explore your options more fully. Also, the process can take more time than anticipated to get all of the pumping done, any repairs, and then you have to get the county out to bless that. All of that can actually delay closing. So I recommend doing this up front, or at least getting the ball rolling on day one. Number 4, appraisal. Hopefully you're pricing the house according to the comps, but particularly in a rising market, the appraiser is going to be looking in the rearview mirror at sales that happened in effectively a lower priced market. They might not find 3 good comparables. Or in a market like we've been in recently, there might not be a lot of sales generally. Volume is down lately due to higher interest rates. So make sure your realtor looks at the comps ahead of time. And if you're worried about it, you can consider negotiating up front with the buyer that they will come in with a higher down payment in the event of a low appraisal. Financing. If the buyer's loan doesn't get final approval, they can back out and keep their earnest money. Sure, they had a pre-approval letter, but that's based on a point in time. They may lose their job, they may buy a car or run up a credit card between signing the contract and closing. And that could lead to a declined loan. I recommend an actual conversation with the lender up front to find out how far they took that pre-approval process. Did they verify income and assets and all the borrower's documentation and put that in front of an underwriter for an approval? Or was it more of a phone conversation? They'll often give you an impression when you are talking to the lender, oh, these buyers are golden, or maybe you'll pick up on verbal cues that say the opposite, that maybe the buyer's really on the bubble. So this is good to know if the offer is contingent on financing, and most are, to really vet that out and get a feel for how strong the financing is and how big the down payment is. Number 2, inspection. This is the most likely place where deals bump off track. Buyers can back out unilaterally during the inspection contingency period. They don't even need to give you a reason why. They can just get cold feet, use the inspection forms to effectively pull the plug on the deal. So my advice is to condense timeframes as much as possible. Time is the enemy. And consider doing a pre-inspection. Home sale contingency. This is the granddaddy of all contingencies, to the point where the term contingent offer actually refers to an offer that's contingent on the buyer selling their current home. So it's the frisbee of contingencies. The buyer can only move forward if they sell their house. This one takes all the risks and ifs involved in a normal real estate transaction and really more than doubles it, because you've got 2 sales to get through. The buyer may overprice their existing house. Their deal could go sideways for any number of reasons, any of those contingencies that we talked about before. That's why I put this one at number 1. I generally advise sellers to actually pass on these offers, at least in the early weeks of listing your house. Try to get a buyer that doesn't have a home to sell. Honorable mentions. Title contingency. Most deals don't blow up because the buyer reviewed the title report and found something to object to in that, but we've seen a few in the past decade. Homeowners Association review is potentially another contingency that you might see in a contract, or in the case of a condo, the resale certificate. These are also less likely to blow up your deal and therefore did not make the top 5.